Thank you for joining us again and welcome back to our channel. You might have noticed the events on the ground in the continent of Africa, specifically in Niger, are changing rapidly. Niger junta expelled French ambassador to leave the country within 48 hours. Niger junta, which seized power in a coup on July the 26th, said on Friday it had ordered French ambassador Sylvain Itte to leave the country within 48 hours as relations between the West African country and its former colonial ruler deteriorated further. Like recent coups in neighboring Burkina Faso and Mali, the military takeover in Niger came amid a growing wave of anti-French sentiment, with some locals accusing the European country of interfering in their internal affairs. In a statement, the junta-appointed foreign ministry said the decision to expel the ambassador was a response to actions taken by the French government that were contrary to the interest of the Nigerian country. It said that it included the envoy's refusal to respond to an invitation to meet the Niger's new foreign minister. The French foreign ministry did not immediately respond to the request for comment. Official, seemingly statements were shared widely online on Friday that appeared to show Niger ordering the United States ambassador and German ambassador to leave the country, in similar terms to statements about the French envoy. However, the United States State Department on Friday said Niger had informed it has not been issued by its foreign ministry. No such request has been made to the United States government, it said. A source in the junta and the Nigerian security sources said only French ambassador has been asked to leave the country. The coup had pushed Niger's long-standing relationship with France to break point, and this latest move raises further doubt about the future of joint military efforts to fight Islamic insurgency in the conflict-torn Sahel region. Let's listen to what Aljazeera has to say, and we will join you back after the video.
Welcome to the News Hour. We begin with the political turmoil in Niger. It's been 1 month since the military detained President Mohamed Bazoum and overthrew the democratically elected government. The coup leaders have defied growing international pressure to release him and return the country to civilian rule. The junta is rallying supporters to what they describe as a million-man march in the capital. Now, it comes a day after hundreds of people had a protest outside the French army base there, and they want French forces to leave in 1 week. Relations with the former colonial power France are getting worse by the day. The military rulers have ordered the ambassador to leave by Sunday after he refused to meet with the foreign minister. And the West African bloc, ECOWAS, is increasing pressure on the coup leaders. It says it's determined to end a spiral of coups in the region and that military intervention is still very much on the table. Well, for the very latest, let's join Emmanuel, who joins us live from the capital, Niamey, with the latest developments. And we are expecting a very busy day on the streets behind you. What are we expecting to happen?
Well, we're expecting hundreds of thousands on the streets, and we've seen some buses ferrying potential demonstrators who will be there. In a few hours' time, we expect to see large crowds, and that will terminate at the National Stadium here in the capital. They are expected to rally to show support to the government after 1 month in office. The government, as you said in the introduction, remains defiant, although we understand that negotiations or mediation is continuing, but to how far will that go, we don't know at the moment. But we understand that a delegation from Nigeria, after directives from the Nigerian president, who is chairman of the Economic Community of West African States, asked them to continue with the dialogue and that they will try as much as possible to ensure that dialogue works instead of military action. So what we expect to see is today is more rallies, more rhetoric ramping up, especially in the face of the suspension or the expulsion of the French ambassador here, and of course more anger towards ECOWAS and all those parties they say are promoting war in the country instead of peace.
Ahmed, let's just focus in on the French ambassador and the tensions that now increasing between Paris and Niamey regarding his position and what the real problem is as to why he will or won't meet the foreign minister.
Well, I think at the moment relations between France and Niger have been damaged. How far will that go and how long will it take to sort of reconstruct the relationship, it's difficult to say at the moment. In fact, yesterday there was total confusion after statements credited to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs also announced the suspension and expulsion of diplomats from Nigeria, from Germany, from the United States, which eventually the ministry put out a statement to deny that. But again, what we're saying is really a big problem for France in this country. There is anti-French sentiment in this country, and of course there are concerns and fears that this could spread from diplomatic to now economic. We know there are several French interests in this country, mining in particular, where France mines uranium in the north of the country, and we're not sure at the moment how far this will affect business for the French and of course the Nigerians. So we expect to see more in terms of diplomatic and economic exchanges in the coming weeks. Whether or not the European Union will take sides is difficult to say at the moment, Sahel.
Thank you. Ahmed Idris there for us, our correspondent in Niamey. Thank you.
France has called for President Mohamed Bazoum to be returned to office following his ousted and has said it will support efforts by West African Regional Bloc, ECOWAS, to overturn the coup. It has also not officially recognized the decision by the junta in early August to revoke a raft of military agreements with France, saying those has been signed with Niger's legitimate authority. The deterioration of Niger-France relations echoes post-colonial development in Mali and Burkina Faso, which has rooted or actually booted out French forces and also severe long-standing ties.
It's the latest broadside launched in the direction of France by the ruling junta in Niger. The military rulers who overthrew the democratically elected President Mohamed Bazoum in late July have now ordered France's envoy to Niger to leave. The junta accuses France of intending to mount a military intervention, saying that the West African bloc ECOWAS was doing Paris's bidding.
The competent Nigerian authorities have decided to withdraw their approval from Mr. Sylvain Itte and to ask him to leave Nigerian territory within 48 hours.
The French government, not recognising the junta as the legitimate rulers of Niger, has refused the request, and its ambassador is not inclined yet to leave Niamey. Niger's official foreign minister also tweeted that the ambassador was accredited by the elected, legitimate and legal president of Niger. In addition to the United States and the European Union, ECOWAS has imposed heavy sanctions on the junta and has threatened to intervene militarily if it does not step down. France still has some 1,500 troops stationed in Niger, where they have been active in anti-jihadist operations in the Sahel region.
Let's take a deeper look with regards to this particular relationship. Why is it France's name keep coming up over and over? It means there is a particular problem with France with regards to its West African, Francophone African countries. France has been the colonial master for so many years, and as you can imagine, France has actually impoverished most of those African countries. Specifically, if you look at the situation in Mali, Burkina Faso, look at Niger, and look at Guinea, look at Chad, look at Central African Republic, Cameroon, all of these countries, Gabon. There are challenges in this French-speaking country. I think France has a particular problem. Why are these countries not asking other European nations or the United States or China or Japan to leave their country? At this moment, Africa does not want war. Africans have fought wars over the years since independence. Niger is one of the poorest countries in the world, if not the second poorest country. But if you look at the exploration and the exploitation of that country by France, collecting or exploring at the moment as we speak, France is exploiting minerals, looking at uranium coming out from Niger to electrify France at the moment, but Niger stays in complete darkness. There is a particular problem. Let's zoom back to understand the basics here. France has a particular colonial problem with African countries, specifically those in Francophone Africa. France has not invested to an extent when we compare what the Chinese have done in Africa for a short period of time. France has been with those countries since independence. France has actually looted those countries extensively to an extent that those countries are beginning to speak out. So I believe that France is beating the drum of war in the continent of Africa. At this moment, France does not really have any country that is supporting it, otherwise France would have gone to war. ECOWAS, I think, is a disgraceful organization in Africa because ECOWAS got it completely wrong at this time. Listen, the junta actually take power. There was no bloodshed, nobody died, or if any incident occurred. But at the moment, France is pushing this for its own self-interest. I think Nigeria is a failure at this case, and Nigerians government has actually acknowledged its failures in several ways. ECOWAS intervened at the moment in Niger. Tons of soldiers would die and Africa will be destabilized again. It is like a ploy. When there is destabilization, companies cannot come to these countries, businesses cannot come in to invest. So it appears this is a camouflage by France to destabilize those regions, so they cannot have any investment or foreign direct investment coming into those particular countries, specifically into the Sahel region. So France should actually leave Niger for peace to reign. There is no need. I mean, when you look at being in a country where you are convocated and your ambassador is refusing to attend the convocation, it means the country has a specific reason why they are refusing to attend that convocation. Things have changed. Mohamed Bazoum is no longer in power. There is not a new regime in Niger at the moment. The same thing that happened in Burkina Faso, the same thing that happened in Mali, the same thing that happened in Guinea. I think Niger is not going to be any different. So France should respect the particular regime at the moment to avoid war. Africa does not want war anymore. African people have been through a lot over the years. Just came out from COVID-19 and a lot of people died because of that pandemic, unfortunately, and it affected African economies, and Niger was no exemption. So there is no need that France should be hanging on to Niger and actually trying to destabilize that poor nation. So France should leave and that to bring peace back in that particular African country. There is just no need for France to stay. If you're refusing to attend a simple invitation and insisting that there is a legitimate president, you don't have to speak for the Niger people. They have made the decision, and if you are insisting, it means you have a secondary aim to escalate the event. Let us know in the comment section what you think, if France should order or France should obey the decision and leave Niger, and let us know what you think about the ECOWAS unbelievable decision to lead the invasion of Niger. Hopefully that we've informed you with the transformational events in the region, and let us know what you think regards to if you are coming from one of those areas in the continent of Africa, and why do you think Africa should not engage in any war, and why France should respect the international geopolitical issues and leave Niger to bring peace in that region. I want to thank you for watching. We're looking forward to meeting you in our next episode. Have a good day. Bye-bye.